In today's video, we'll be covering off what a winning product for Google Ads looks like. I'm going to cover off all the essential elements I've seen as to what exactly makes a Google winning product, right? Let's get into it, guys. Before we get into the content of the channel, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let's grow this channel. Let's get into it. My definition of a winning product, okay? I find a lot of people talk about winning products, but they don't actually give you a definition of what one is, right? So you're probably wondering, I've heard this term. Personally, I don't like it. I prefer to think of a winning product as a product that brings in consistent, profitable sales, right? So there's two parts to that. We've got consistent. What I mean by consistent is that I don't get a sale one day and then I don't get any for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. I'm getting consistent sales each and every day for weeks, months on end. That to me is a winning product, right? On top of that, it needs to be profitable because it's very, very easy to go out there and sell products at a loss and actually make revenue. But these products need to be profitable. And what that means is, right, the amount you spend per sale on ads needs to be less than what the product actually costs you. You need to be making a profit on it, right? If you sell a product for $100 and you spend $150 on ads, you're not making any money, right? You add in also your cost of the product and you're losing a significant sum of money. Now, if you're getting a cost per purchase of $15, boom, you've made $85 profit there. And then say it costs you $25 to buy the product and then maybe another $10 for other fees. You've got a considerable amount of profit there, right? You've got $55 of profit. And what that means, guys, is you need to have a positive return on ad spend, right? You need to have a positive cost per conversion. So if you don't have a positive cost per conversion and your cost per conversion is more than the sale price or your profit margin on the product after product costs and all other costs, then you're going to be losing money. That to me isn't a winning product. If you're just sitting there turning cash constantly, you're not going to be making any money and you're actually not running a business. You're just turning cash over. Now we've established it, I'll talk a bit more about why this is my definition. I often find, guys, that Google is a game of multiple products bringing in sales per day, right? So you might have 10, 15, 20, however many products, and each of those is bringing in sales each day. And although these might seem as small winners, we're not talking six-figure products, all of these sales add up really, really quickly, and you can build quite a substantial store just based off multiple winners, right? And if you're wanting to see my strategy, there's lots of videos on the channel to actually talk you through my strategy where we have a test bucket and then we have product-specific campaigns that we scale. Obviously, those winners, those smaller winners would be in those scaling campaigns. This is why Google is perfect for general or broad niche stores. It's much easier to test multiple products fast. It's not to say that you cannot do well with a single product store or just a handful of products. You totally can. You just need to have the search volume there to justify it, right? So this is the reason that I give that definition, right? It's multiple little winning products a lot of the time can give us a lot of sales. But that being said, we can, in some instances, if we have the search volume there, also do well with single or a few products. Before I get any further into discussing the elements of a winning product, I want you to develop this mindset for success with Google. You have to remember that Google traffic is based on people searching something with intent, right? They're intentionally searching for a product, right? So this is very different to, say, a Facebook, which is disruption marketing, where you're trying to catch their attention. We're trying to get people that are ready to buy there and then. We're putting the correct product in front of them and they're buying, right? Understanding this psychological difference is going to make a huge difference to your success, guys. This intentional searching is why branded products do really, really well on Google. And anyone selling branded products and then has access to legitimately sell them is going to find that they do a lot of their volume through Google Ads. Understanding the intent of a search term is also key to your success. So if your search terms appear, if your product, you're selling shoes and you appear for footwear, right? It's not a very, very specific term. The person is just generally browsing for footwear. That could be shoes, that could be sandals, it could be running shoes, it could be tennis shoes, it could be anything, right? There's not much intent there. So would we keep that keyword in a campaign where we're spending good money? We probably wouldn't. We'd probably want to exclude that keyword and try and focus on stuff that's a bit more specific. So understanding these two things, guys, is going to be key to A, finding winning products, and B, doing well with Google. So you're probably wondering, okay, you've talked about all these small winners, but what about those big, juicy, six-figure plus products? I'm going to talk you through my experience on what you need and what elements need to be present for you to hit these 6, 7, and even 8-figure kind of sales numbers. This is just based on my experience and in dealing with clients that have hit these numbers as well. So there's 7 elements that I find, guys, and I'm going to take you through each one of these in greater detail, but this is the list here. So you could potentially turn this into a little checklist for yourself and run through each one and see if a product fits that requirement, right? It's quite an easy checklist. You do not need all of these items, these elements here, but if you have, the more of these elements you have, the better chance this product is going to do well. And stay till the end of the video, guys, because I'll actually talk you through which of these elements and how many you need to hit the different 6, 7, and 8-figure sales targets. So the first of these, guys, is mass appeal or a large addressable market. So the more search volume there, the better. So a big market has more chance of getting you sales than a small market, right? With Google, the benefit or solution needs to be fairly obvious. Otherwise, you're going to need some creative elements to better explain it, right? And in that instance, you might need a different advertising avenue. If you sell accessories to complement large, well-known product releases, so, maybe an Apple new iPhone has launched and you're selling cases, that you're piggybacking off that big launch and that spike in search demand. Another one is actually even just Christmas, piggybacking off a Christmas period, search volume goes up, guys, and there's tons of product releases. So Q4 is really, really good for Google because search volume goes through the roof. And I urge you to actually jump into the keyword planner and just type in gifts or gifts for health lovers, gifts for dog lovers, and you'll see that November, December search volume is huge for all those terms. Number 4 is perceived value is high or not well known. And what that means is if a product looks premium or expensive, it's more likely to hit a larger sales dollar value, so a larger sales price, and therefore you need to sell less to hit those bigger numbers, right? I hope that makes sense. Ideally, I look for products with a $25 plus profit margin per sale. 50 is way better, and that's why I prefer to focus on higher ticket products. This isn't to say that you cannot make this work. This is just one of the elements I find, guys, that contribute to people's success. If you have all the other 6 elements present and not that one, you could still have a 6, 7-figure product, right? But I prefer to have higher margins. It gives me more advertising room to play with. Number 6 is people have an emotional connection to it. If someone doesn't have an emotional connection to something, they're probably not as likely to buy, and they're probably not going to spend as much on this, okay? Number 7 is a recognizable brand makes a huge difference. If you cannot get a brand, try and find a product equivalent to the branded option, right? Apple sells phone cases, but there's tons of non-Apple branded phone cases that are just do the same job. So in that instance, it's still going to do relatively well. I'm never going to cover off the essential elements that I just covered. So I'm going to go into these in greater detail now, guys, and actually take you through some examples and also what sort of products these are, right? So in this next section, guys, I'm going to take you through each one of these elements in greater detail. So the mass appeal or mass market. So look for anything related to the home, guys. You can either go to a homeware store or a store like Amazon and go through each and every category and start brainstorming. And each one of those categories or subcategories could be their own kind of broad niche store. So you could have a furniture store, which is a great high ticket store. So or you could just specialize in outdoor, lounge, bedroom, all of these things here. And as you can see here, you can actually get a little niche on stuff, right? And you can blend two things together. So this product down here is actually a exercise bench, right? Which relates to health, but it mixes in with home. So it's an exercise bench that's perfect for the home. And I found that keyword because I was just typing fitness weight bench that looks like, and the auto suggestion came up, furniture. People search that. This is an example here. Not a lot of people would think to search for something like that, but there's actually search volume there that exists, guys. So if you can find a supplier, what I'd do is I'd go and have a look, what's this brand? And I'd actually reach out to the brand and talk to them and see if they'd be willing to drop ship it, or if you have a bit more of a risk tolerance, actually stock the product and sell it. Other big areas are things like bathroom, gardening, outdoor, DIY, but anything related to the home, just have a look around or go into a big department store or something like that and look into exactly what they sell. So if you can physically see it, you're probably going to be able to go and brainstorm. Just make a list, and then when you go home, start doing a bit of digging for suppliers. In the next video, I will take you through a bit more detail in product research and then some supplier research as well. But if you're interested in more, guys, definitely check out my course, which I'll leave a link below to check it out. So the next section, guys, is health. Okay, so fitness, sport, any of these things here, guys, there's tons here that you could do other than what I've got listed. So another one's pets, dog, cat. The good thing with some of these is they've also got that emotional connection. People have an emotional connection to their home. They want their home to look nice for other people. Fitness and sport, people want to look good. People want to be healthy. There's a big, obviously, push towards that in society, right? And then pets, people have a big emotional connection to their pets, and it's mass appeal. All of these terms here, guys, have huge search volume. So this one here is probably the most important factor. And I hope this is kind of giving you some ideas to then go and start doing a bit more research. Okay, so the next one, the product needs to have an obvious benefit, function, or solution, okay? It needs to be fairly obvious and people need to be searching for it. So Google isn't great unless people are looking for something specific and there's actually some volume there. So they're either going to be looking for the specific product or they're going to be looking for a solution. So, how to fix a sore back, something like that. But other people might search back posture corrector, something like that. Yeah. Again, this is why brands do well on Google, because brands that have filled those gaps, people know of the product, they jump on Google, they search it, they look around, and then they're more likely to buy. If this isn't the case, guys, you probably need to use YouTube, which is part of the Google network, or social media ads. Examples of what's harder to do well but can still work are if the product is brand new, unique, or innovative, right? The sort of products that often do well on Facebook aren't necessarily going to do well on Google, especially if they're super niche and super new. That's where those videos that go viral, because no one's seen it before, that's why they do really well. Now, eventually that search volume will flow through to Google, but before it does, if no one's searching for it, it's going to be much harder to sell on Google. Another one is highly visual products with lots of variations are a little bit harder. The strategy there needs to be a bit different, and so you would need to bid a little bit lower potentially and just be very brutal with your keywords. Can still work, it's just a bit harder. Products needing lots of explanations or are complex to understand in a single image on the shopping network or a bit of text, that's going to be hard as well, guys. Here's some examples of hard, okay? And I'm going to take you through hard, medium, and kind of easier, right? So if I just type in artwork, this could be virtually anything. It could be actual pottery. It could be wall art. As you can see, there's no clear indication in the shopping ads there as to, what would I buy? I'm just you're almost guessing whether or not people will buy. And obviously, maybe that's a really good seller for this business, that cow, but you don't know, right? If you're selling products and you're targeting those keywords and not adding these as a negative, you're going to get a lot of clicks, potentially not many sales. So something easier to sell, something like unique cat paintings. So unique is one element, cat is the big element there, and then paintings. The person's actually looking for a painting. Now, although this is a cockatoo here, and another one here, okay, this one's got big cats here, these ones here are probably far more likely to result in a purchase than our previous one up here of our artwork. Much easier is black cat paintings, 50 by 50, right? So if this is 50 by 50 and it's a black cat painting, it is black, it's black and white, that's probably even more likely than this one to result in a sale. It's just got that added layer of specificity. So I hope that's kind of helped you understand of the level of detail and depth you need to get your mind into getting used to run Google ads. Accessories for big product launches is the next one that I find, and the easiest way to find these guys is just Google it or make a little database of different brands that you follow or you know are popular, and then start going through those and going, what are the biggest product launches coming up? What are the biggest product launches of 2020? And start going through those. As you can see, I've been on the CES site, 2021, new product launches. Have a look through there, see if you can either sell the product if you're able to reach out to them, or B, sell an accessory to Here's some examples of some sites I've used in the past, guys, just to kind of start brainstorming and getting some ideas as to what to sell. Some examples of big brands as well are Apple, Samsung, Microsoft, Nike, Google, etc. It's very easy. Go through even the stock exchange and start looking at brands, or look at biggest brands in the world and go through that, guys. The next one, guys, is high perceived value really helps. So jewelry is a really good one, because as you can see on the top left here, the Glamira infinity necklace right there, like that's $654. You know what I mean? It's like, it looks so small, but the perceived value is really big on it, right? That might only cost the person $50 and they make $600 in profit. Other things are, anything with premium, and think outside the box. So just type premium, luxury, and look at this, premium beach umbrella. Who would have thought that that's a thing? But clearly, look at it. It's quite a high ticket item, and I guarantee you there's a market for this. There's nothing too ridiculous, guys. You'd be surprised what gets bought online. So the next one's high profit margins, guys. I prefer $25 plus. You can make it with smaller margins, as I said. Sell higher value and even high ticket products is much easier, right? So if you've got a product that has a $10 profit margin, or one with a $100 profit margin, you need to sell 10 of the $10 profit to just that one of that $100 profit, right? So obviously it becomes a lot easier, and you're able to spend more on ads, collect more data, and make decisions faster and better decisions too. That's not to say you cannot make it work. I just prefer to have less orders, less headaches, and more profit sitting there with less sales. The emotional connection, guys, the easiest way to think of this is things like baby, pet, beauty, health, status. They're the 5 key ones that most people will kind of flock to, and the easiest way to get through this is, for an emotional connection, do something like trendy baby gifts or trendy baby presents, things like that, trendy pet gifts, and you'll start to get some ideas of different things, right? Think outside the box. You could pull together a little hamper like that and market it across Google and Facebook. So emotional connection makes things a lot easier to sell, guys. And this is one that you kind of need to use your own kind of experience and your own spin on these things, because everyone has different emotional connections. Like mine will be different to yours, and so try and think a little bit about what you ask other people. What do they value? What wouldn't they part with? So, and then you can find solutions or ideas on things to sell. Brands sell the best on Google, guys. So if you've got branded products or a brand of your own, the reason's fairly obvious. So people trust brands and they're willing to pay more for them. This doesn't only mean big brands like Nike and Apple and things like that, guys. There's much smaller brands, I imagine, that are popular within your country or even within your state or city. And if you can find the supplier, they're local, start to build a relationship with them, you can find a lot of these people are willing to drop ship or willing to stock the product with you. So for you to stock their product, but you need to put in the hard work to find them, right? If you cannot get a hold of brands, find something more generic, but people kind of know, like these Adirondack chairs. I believe I've pronounced that right. They were popular from a particular brand at one point, and then they went completely mainstream, and then everyone's selling them. So a branded equivalent can actually do quite well there as well. But if you can get your hand on some brands and legally sell them, you're going to find that Google becomes just that bit easier, right? And if you're building a brand, it's going to be easier as well, because if your product is branded, people are going to pay more for it and they're going to convert much, much easier. So hitting 6+ figures, guys, in my experience, you need 4 of the above, right, or more, and you're more likely to hit kind of the 6-figure mark. 5 or 6, you're probably hitting towards 7 figures, and all 7, you're far more likely to hit 8+ figures. This is not guaranteed, right? So if you could find something, hits all those, and you still don't do it, your website's bad, customer experience is bad, and other parts of your marketing are bad, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're guaranteed to get this, but this is just what I've seen in the past work, and this is what people have had to hit these kind of figures. I will say, guys, people overthink this product research step in a big way. I've had stores and managed store accounts for clients that in small countries, just like Australia, for example, tons of small stores, so I personally have had stores and managed stores within a small country like Australia, and it's done really, really well and hit the above figures, guys. Australia only has 25 million people, and we're still able to hit those kind of figures. So be patient, persistent, and be willing to try lots of new things, right? You might have to test 100 different things before it hits, but if you don't try it, you will not know. And so as long as you've got a methodical approach to the research and then also to your testing, you're much more likely to hit some level of success, but stick to it. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the next one, which will be on product research. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what sort of content you want to see more of, and I'll see you in the next video.